Stefan.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Olfner.
It's Marc-Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. We are in Madrid and we're nearly at the semi-final stage, and we've had some big stories as well. Jannik Sinner withdrawing due to injury, and Carlos Alcaraz defeated by Andre Rublev, and Rafael Nadal, his last hurrah in Madrid. And will he be playing in Roland Garros this year? We'll find out in Rome, I think, JG.
Well, it's been a crazy 24 hours in Madrid. Nadal crying, leaving the court, playing his last ever match in Madrid. There's a nice tribute for him. I was quite upset with how that ended against Lehecka. Not too much fault on Rafa. I thought Lehecka was outstanding. We'll speak about that in this video. Jannik Sinner withdrawing isn't a surprise. I didn't think he was going to win this event because of the hip injury. And it kind of makes sense, him withdrawing. I think he should, especially ahead of Roland Garros, if there is a small problem, don't push yourself too hard and try and go all the way here and then play Rome as well, then Roland Garros. Have a little break now and then see how you are for Rome. If it's not any better for Rome, don't play that either. Because the priority is Roland Garros. I think he will be at a really good level, even if he doesn't play tennis for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that he has leveled up in his career now, even to the point where he was not going to play against Karen Khachanov, but then he decided to play and still beat him with an injury,
exactly,
which I thought that was really impressive. And he's actually very good at communicating now with his box, and they're sort of making decisions on the fly, it seems. Like, how shall I approach this? Because I know that I've got a lot of important tournaments coming up. He doesn't want to force it. He doesn't want to be injured for Roland Garros. That's the most important thing for him. He is the winner of the only slam that has taken part this year. And can he make it 2 slams out of 2 in 2024? So he is still, I think, the most informed player this year. I don't think there's any denying that. And I'm quite happy that we didn't get to see him go out on court and just get beaten or retired due to injury, because that would have been a bad look for him, I think. Yeah,
I just want to see the run go and keep going and see him go for a whole season with hardly losing, only losing a handful of matches. And by him withdrawing, he keeps that run going rather than going out and losing, not feeling 100%.
Against Felix next as well, it would have been. So it wouldn't have been an easy match either.
I don't know. I think it probably would have been an easy match, just because Felix has got all right here. He's not in the highest of confidence, and I feel in the latter stages of an event, Felix is a bit like a Maria Sakkari, who is only going to get worse as it gets closer to the business end. I don't know if he gets better as the tournament goes on. But the only person we've not spoke about is Carlos Alcaraz. We do have a song potentially coming soon for him. This is a sneak peek. And that's all you're going to get. It's a very, very good song, and we will hopefully release that at some point to the Patreon members first. And Carlos Alcaraz was the star boy in Madrid up until him losing today against Rublev.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely incredible performance from Andre Rublev. My player, roulette player as well. I mean, maybe we needed to see him come back to form at some point. Obviously, after that default that he had, he lost his confidence. He lost multiple matches in a row as well. And now we finally get the real Andre Rublev back again. I mean, I thought it was a brilliant performance from Andre Rublev. And the way that he's striking the ball, it is like the Andre Rublev of old. He's serving well, and I think some of those ground shots he hits, like, obviously is much more effective in Madrid than it would be on some other clay courts. But he made Carlos Alcaraz all-out defense today. Yep. I mean, Alcaraz was trying to be aggressive in the first set, but as soon as Rublev found his swing, Alcaraz, all he could do is just literally just keep it in play. The drop shot was there for Alcaraz. I think that was his best shot of the day, to be honest, and he nailed it a few times. But Rublev, on some of those drop shots when he came in, to get the flick down the line or cross court, unbelievable. And he's full of confidence right now. I think, for me, he's the favourite to go on and win Madrid right now.
Yeah, Alcaraz said to Rublev at the net, you served very well today. And I think that was significant because when Rublev is serving well, especially in these conditions, plays a bit like a fast sort of hard court with that bounce and the altitude of Madrid, super dangerous, and got a really good chance now of going all the way and winning this event. He ends Carlitos' winning streak of 14 matches. I believe, you can bring up the tweet, if he would have won one more, he would have, let me bring it up now. Carlos Alcaraz had the chance to pass Rafael Nadal's record today for the longest win streak in Madrid, but instead they stayed tied at 14 wins. In a way, it's poetic for them to share the accomplishment. Rafa gave so much to Spanish tennis. Carlos is on his journey to do the same. It is a bit poetic, especially with Rafa ending his time here in Madrid, and they're going to now end with the same win streak, longest win streak of 14.
Well, Carlos might be able to go on and maybe achieve greater in his career, but we don't know that for sure yet. I think it's nice though, but it's just one of those other comparisons. Yet again, they're getting some similar stats. I mean, it's mind-boggling, to be honest, but I think Alcaraz, I could see him extending this one, I think, in years to come. I think it really suits his game. He was just beaten by somebody playing lights-out tennis today. The serve was so good. Some of those returns of serve that he did were so far out wide. He had such a great swerve on his serve on the deuce side that Alcaraz was nearly on the advertising board returning it. It was crazy, but fair play to Rublev. I mean, when he's in that type of form and serving very, very high percentage first serves, very tough guy to beat on any surface.
In Carlos's defence, we spoke about Sinner's injury. Jose thankfully translated the press conference for us because it was in Spanish. And he admits he still has to recover his normal forehand without thinking about his arm. He says he and his team never thought he would reach the quarterfinals here, and a loss versus Rublev in the quarterfinals is a good result given the circumstances. I don't know if you're going to bring the tweet up. It's Jose Morgado's one.
I mean, it's a very realistic outlook on his expectations. Let me just find that tweet.
But if he is injured, he's saying right now he wasn't really feeling it because he's all constantly thinking about the arm. Do you believe him? Do you think he's making an excuse? Because we're quite quick to say it with some players. Do you think he's just genuinely not fully fit, not physically there fully?
I think it's interesting though because he's been asked after some of the matches, and then maybe it's a little bit of a language barrier as well because I know he is still learning English and stuff like that. Yeah. But he has.
I think you're going to say what I'm going to say.
Go on.
No, I want you to say it now to confirm.
Well, I think that when he was saying afterwards, when he actually spoke to Jose Morgado as well, he was saying that he said it felt great in his first couple of matches.
Exactly, yeah.
But
yeah, so you are saying what I'm saying. And that is, all of the matches he's been winning, he's been saying, I feel back to normal. I'm feeling great again. The first time he loses, now there's a problem. I'm just putting it out there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I don't think he's faking it at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just calling it out as it is. People always say, you always do it if it's Djokovic. Well, I'm doing it with Alcaraz now. And right now, I can honestly say, throughout the tournament, I've seen a few times him saying he's feeling fit, he's feeling ready, feeling like he's playing some of his best tennis. And yet the moment he loses, now I was thinking about my arm. That's why I lost.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, we do speak about it with other players as well. There is part of me thinking that it could just be like a mental thing that you convince yourself that it feels great. The more you say, I feel great, the less you're thinking about how it's affecting you. That could be potentially what's going on. Or maybe it just was feeling great and maybe today it didn't feel quite as good as it has in previous rounds. But I think he's still had a good tournament. I think he's performances in the previous rounds, even in the first set, was pretty good. But it just goes to show even Alcaraz at that level is still not good enough to beat some of these like really, really top players, like top 5 player like Rublev on his day. That final set, he absolutely blitzed him. It wasn't even that close, to be honest. Rublev completely outplayed him, and a scary prospect. When are we going to see that Andrei Rublev turn up in a semi-final of a slam, or maybe even get to the final of one slam at some point in his career? Because that Rublev that turned up today could do that, but that's over a 3-set match, not a 5-set match, and all of the above. So,
well, he did do something he's never done before, and that is beat Carlos Alcaraz, and he now has a win over every single player currently inside the top 10. And he was asked which top 10 player was the toughest to beat, and he gave a long answer. In essence, his most memorable ones was either Roger or Rafa, but he thinks Roger was the best one because it was a tournament where he forgot to enter. He then got an alternate into the event, got in, went to qualifying, only had one racket. It was partially broken, the racket. Played the whole tournament with a broken racket. Ended up then beating Wawrinka and Roger and reaching the quarterfinals from qualies. He said it was something like a fairy tale week for him. So that was Andre speaking about that event and his best out of the top 10. But I just think it's such a difficult feat to say you've beaten all of them players. And the reason I think he's been able to do it is because he has an ability, when he's serving well, to be very, very aggressive and dominant, especially on that forehand side. And I think it's unplayable when it's all clicking.
yeah.
It doesn't always click, that's the thing. Plus, if you add the fact that he's actually good on every surface, I wouldn't say there's one surface he's not that good on.
Yeah, I'd say
Indoor hard court, outdoor hard court, clay courts, grass. Doesn't really matter. I think any surface you put him on, he's very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, he hits the ball so flat and with such pace. The backhand even looked... that's one thing I'm normally a little
It's
bit...
improved a lot. It's improved a lot.
Today it was like a bullet. I mean, Alcaraz didn't really know which side to go to. The backhand had nearly as much power as the forehand and was like producing a lot of winners off of both wings. So, scary prospect. I mean, I like this, and maybe this is what Rublev needed. You know, that default where he had the outburst and he had the screaming at the line judge, and that lowered his confidence after that when he got defaulted, and he went away and he lost 4 matches in a row, didn't win a set, and now
you kept calling him out during that period. And I think this is another situation where none of these players are bad players. They're just low on confidence and form for that small period. Rublev is always going to come good, but he was having a bit of a wobble after that incident, and now we're seeing him back to his best. He's probably going to have another wobble again in a few weeks. That's just the way tennis is. It's very difficult to remain at the top all the time and always give 8 out of 10. And that's what makes these players like your Djokovic's and your Nadals so much special, because they've been able to remain at a level consistently for year after year after year. And that is what's just so remarkable about their achievement. Probably more remarkable than anything else, the consistency and the longevity.
Most definitely. I mean, that's the craziest thing about that big three, that trio, all had such a high level for so much of the year after year after year. And this is going for like 20 years. I mean, it's just unheard of that people will play at that level. And when they lose a tennis match, you're shocked nearly every time. That's crazy.
Well, what is more normal, I guess, is how Rublev is. You play well for a bit, then you struggle for a bit, and you lose your confidence. Something goes wrong, you change your rackets. It's a bit like up and down tennis.
Why are we not giving Holger Rune the same treatment? Because...
Well, you say I mean, you've been one of the toughest critics, I would say, of players who are in bad form.
Yeah, I think
you're more critical than me. The reason there's going to be some people saying, "Oh, what about you, Raducanu?" Well, for me, it's not. That's different because it's not bad form. It's been consistently for a long, long time since the US Open, And I don't see that situation improving unless she drastically changes a lot of things.
Oh, we're probably going to get onto that on a elongated podcast debate. I think that's going to be coming up soon on the channel. So make sure to stay tuned on that. A big Raducanu fan will be coming on to debate JG on some of these, and I'll be there in the middle mediating proceedings, which should be fun. But we were speaking about consistency on the tour, so to move back to somebody who obviously very consistent and not really playing at the moment, and we should really just give a little bit of a shout out to him and say I hope that his father is doing well, because I heard he had a little bit of a fall, and Novak had to go and be by his side and back in Serbia. So I hope that the Djokovic family are all doing well, and I'm sure they're doing even better after all of the stuff that's going on this week. Do you not think, JG? Well.
Yeah, bring it up. So we've got the unbiased Sinner fan here, and it reads, Nadal semi-retired, Rune finished, Alcaraz with no serve or forehand. Harsh, but yeah, injured. Sinner injured with a broken hip, and Djokovic when Roland Garros starts. You can just see him here as fresh as a daisy walking through the door, just loving life. And there we go. Out of everyone, he's looking pretty unscathed and ready right now. I mean, even Zverev, who did he lose to the other week?
Yeah, I mean,
The other day.
The other
Surrendalo, winnable match. So, is Djokovic favourite for Roland Garros?
Right now, he's probably licking his lips at the chance of getting back on a clay court. I think if the others are injured, he has to go to the top of the list straight away. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Bear in mind, he's the reigning champion as well. So you can't really rule Djokovic out, can you? I can't wait to see what Rome's going to be like. This is going to be a massive, massive tournament. Obviously, we're going to have potentially all of them back. We're definitely going to have Nadal back. We know that. And Djokovic, Nadal in the tournament together, that's the exciting thing about
Could play
Rome.
each other.
Is it going to be number 60? That could be their 60th meeting against each other.
Oh, it would be such a good one.
Remember number 57?
Yeah, I do.
On your birthday?
On my birthday, that was at Rome in the final, and Nadal won.
It was mad. That was a really, really great Rome final as well. But yeah, we could have Djokovic versus Nadal in Rome, maybe in one of the early rounds as well. I mean, that would be pretty crazy. I'm excited, but will we be seeing this guy in Rome? Because Yannick Sinner, obviously, sad that he has withdrawn. This hip has been bothering him for the week and slowly getting more painful, and taking the advice of doctors, and they decided it's best not to play any further and make it any worse. So
yeah, I feel like I've said my things about Yannick Sinner at the start. There's not really much more to add. Let's just see what happens with
Rome?
the doctors. I think that's what I'm saying. It's not really much more to add. We've got to wait to find out more about the extent of the injury. I'm just happy that he's taken this decision. I think it's the best thing that he could have done, and the priority's got to be Roland Garros. And like we said at the start, with him being this new version of Yannick Sinner, I don't think he even needs to practice anymore or get any match fitness. He could probably go now fresh into the first round of Roland Garros in a few weeks' time and play at the level we'd expect from him and be okay. And it might even help him become favourite if he's fully gives him his time for his body to recover and strengthen up a little bit. He's played a lot of tennis recently, and you've got to remember, ever since the post-puke Sinner, he's pretty much got to the final every time and won the events or got really deep. So he's not used to playing at these events for so long. He's never done it before. He's now getting to like every single possible match at every event.
yeah, I mean, it's insane.
It's grueling.
His only loss on clay was the contentious, dodgy one against Tsitsipas, which we know with the dodgy line call. So other than that, he's undefeated on clay this year. So I think you're right. He doesn't need to prove anything. Rome would be great, but it's not necessary. And I think he'll be just fine if he has a nice draw at Roland Garros. I know we always say that. I feel like it doesn't need to be too nice, but just okay, just a nice building like block each round, that'll be enough to warm up. He's one of the elite players now, like your Djokovic's and your Nadal's when you go to a slam now. I expect him to clean up the people in the first week with ease and get better and better, and that's where his warm-up can come. He doesn't need the warm-up tournament. I mean, you see the likes of like Djokovic going into Wimbledon, doesn't need a warm-up tournament. It's just the first few matches are the warm-up, and then we'll see him in the second week at his full potential.
Let's speak Rafa Nadal, and he lost to Lehecka.
Yes.
We watched the match, the full thing. The tribute was nice. It was emotional. It was very emotional seeing his sister. I don't know if you saw it, his sister.
Yeah.
Someone who's supported him massively from the stands from the moment he started to now. I think she goes to all of his matches. She was breaking down. His wife was as well.
Yeah.
And I am a little bit upset with the outcome of the match. And I'm not really recovered from it, because when I was watching it and the crowd were getting up at their match points, even just before at 30-15, there was something inside of me that thought, you know what, I think he's going to break back and we're going to see something magical. And these great players always have a story in store, and it was something to remember. But it just didn't happen. And he couldn't withstand the pressure of Lehecka. You've got to just give a massive shout out to him, because I've never seen a man hit the ball so hard consistently for the duration of the match.
Yeah.
However long it was. What was it? A few hours. Just ridiculous. If you go back to them serving stats, the numbers are crazy. He averaged 138 mile an hour on his first serve, won 41 out of 46 points. He averaged 110 mile an hour on his second serve and won 7 out of 19 points. Nadal, on his first serve, was basically the same as what Lehecka's second one was. And on his second, it was 96 mile an hour. He couldn't handle that pace. And I think everyone's going to be in trouble. Let's see how Medvedev fares against him. Lehecka's got a good shot. And if he can win that match, it's a very winnable one, I believe. In Felix, who got the bye there, because he didn't have to play Yannick Sinner. Felix is definitely playing better. We've seen some good performances from him. But the winner of Lehecka Medvedev is favourite for the final and has a good shot of winning the whole thing. And if Lehecka performs like he did against Nadal, taking my Rafa glasses off, I think he can win the whole thing as well, because his volleying as well was sublime. I didn't realise he was that good at volleying. He's a really good clay court player, and he's getting better and better. The pressure of the crowd doesn't seem to bother him. And this was one of them matches where most players just would not have risen to the occasion, with Rafa there and being the occasion it was. It was bigger than the tennis match, it felt. And most players wouldn't be able to withstand that, but Lehecka was able to. So everyone's got to fear him.
Yeah, I definitely agree. For me, if you're looking for a good underdog bet, back Lehecka against Medvedev, in my opinion. I think it's a really worthwhile. You see what he can do, and I said it in the preview or after the Cashin match, and I know that people have a go at me for being negative about how Cashin played against him. Well, that's because that's how I want to see somebody play against Rafael Nadal, with no fear or I wouldn't say no respect, but I'd say like no respect for the fact that he's in Madrid and he's playing against a Spanish player, a legend in Spain. It didn't bother him at all. And I thought that he'd have like ice in his veins, and he did. He didn't look like there was one like second where he was off his game. That was the crazy thing. Like, you'd think that Rafa would be able to get the crowd on his side and maybe able to just like disturb him a little bit or get in his head. No. You see the stats. We should watch the match. It was just like the crowd was silenced constantly by him, because it was, like you said, it was almost difficult to get excited for Rafa's last match because it wasn't really that close. He was actually getting really beaten off the court by Lehecka. It was. I think Rafa still played quite well, though.
Yeah,
I don't want to say
there was good moments in it. It wasn't a bad Rafa performance, and it was enough to encourage me that we're going to see him at a level for the rest of this year. And he's not signing off his career in a bad way.
No,
I think it's a very respectable way to go out, where he's playing good enough points, not matches. He's not playing good matches. He's playing good moments in matches.
Oh yeah,
and it's enough to get excited for, and enough to want to watch him again. And I'm going to be going big for him in Rome. I think we could even see him better again. I'm hoping so anyway. Some other news which just come in, of course. Fritz beating Cerundolo, and that was 6-1, 3-6, 6-3. And he becomes the first American man since 2005 to reach the Madrid semi-finals. It doesn't happen often.
Wow.
You don't get American players doing very well at Madrid. It's his 250th career match win, his first Madrid semi-final, and his fourth Masters semi-final. So the drought is over for American tennis.
Yeah, I mean, how crazy is it? We keep on overlooking really Taylor Fritz in the past few weeks, and then suddenly he just bursts back on the scene again to have a good tournament, which we know he's capable of. The only person who stopped him in Munich was Struff, to be honest. So, I mean, Struff in amazing form nearly took out Alcaraz in this tournament. Maybe that was the downfall of Alcaraz really in this tournament, because he was pushed so hard by Jan-Lennard Struff that maybe that's where the pain started to come back. Who knows? But I thought this was a bit of a 50-50 match for me against Cerundolo. I thought Cerundolo played exceptionally well against Zverev, and he's another player that I would love to see do more stuff. Like Francisco Cerundolo, someone we've had on the podcast, a super nice guy, and I feel like he just needs to just have a bit more confidence in himself. And this tournament, you saw him have more confidence. But Taylor Fritz, this should be one tournament he does well in. I am surprised that he has done it, but I'm sort of not, because the serve, it's one of those tournaments. Zverev normally does pretty well here, and now you're seeing Taylor Fritz. He's one with a big serve. Medvedev, another big server. Lehecka, big server. Rublev, big server. Felix, big server. They're all big servers left.
Fritz won't win it, in my opinion.
I think it's, I mean, call me crazy, between Rublev and Lehecka. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I kind of agree as well.
Why am I ruling out Medvedev?
Medvedev could do it, for sure.
I mean, it's possible, for sure. I mean, people are going to be annoyed.
And my question to you is this on Medvedev, because let's speak about him. I know he's not had his quarterfinal match. Is Medvedev the most versatile clay court player aside from Nadal and Djokovic?
Oh, it's current Rome champion.
No, but do you know? Think about what I'm saying. Is he the most versatile clay court player out of everyone else?
Yeah, what, out of the ones left in?
Yeah. The reason being, Alcaraz has only ever won Madrid, like Masters level. I don't have all the stats now, but I saw it earlier. Basically, all of the players, Tsitsipas has won Monte Carlo a few times, Rublev's won Monte Carlo, Zverev's won Madrid, is he? But they've never won.
Madrid,
yeah, they've never won like both of them, Madrid or Rome or Monte Carlo. Like, if you look at them three, he would have won the most combinations out of everyone else. So if he can win Madrid, he'd then have a Rome and a Madrid.
That would be impressive. I mean, he's the furthest he's ever got is this year as well, and he's always improving, even though he moans a lot about it. I feel like if he was going to win one, this would be always the one you'd expect him to win. It being, well, for the big servers. I mean, he does have one of the biggest serves as well, Medvedev. Yeah, I mean, it's still inside the realm of possibility. The one thing I'd say about him playing Lehecka, though, and I've sort of like dismissed Medvedev like stupidly, his recovery skills are so amazing. So getting balls back into court may be the difference between him and Rafa, really. I mean, Rafa, he can't run down everything anymore. It's just not. It's not like possible. His legs won't carry him where his mind wants him to go. Whereas Medvedev, he could run probably for like 4 or 5 hours, and he's not going to get tired. So that could be a factor.
So I've got the tweet. I've sent it to you. Daniel
nice one.
Klaverdev is now the favourite to cement his status as the most versatile clay court 1000 player of the 2020s decade. And the reason that is because Tsitsipas has won 3 Monte Carlos, Rublev Monte Carlo, Alcaraz 2 Madrid, Zverev Madrid, Djokovic 2 Romes, Nadal 1 Rome, Medvedev has won a Rome. If he wins Madrid, he's got a Rome and a Madrid. He's better than all of them players. The best on the clay, the most versatile. Klaverdev.
And then he goes on to win Roland Garros. I mean, I think he will get.
It's a bit
deeper and
biased this
deeper.
tweet because they're not counting Roland Garros. Just very only going to look at clay
Masters.
court 1000 events. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that he definitely could be considered to go deep at Roland Garros as well. I don't think you can rule him out, even though it's all a bit of a persona type thing. He likes to play into the whole "I don't like the clay" or that. But the longer he plays on it and the more years that go by, the better I think he becomes. I'm still going to always go back and compare him to Andy Murray and how he wasn't that good at Roland Garros until the latter stages of his career, and then you saw him in the final. So it's just, I think that we're going to see similar stuff from Daniel Medvedev, to be honest. I mean, he's been losing a few slam finals, so he's already like Murray, to be honest. So that's just the way it is.
Before we wrap it up, Ben, I want you to give me your winner for Madrid based off what you've seen so far. Who is going to win Madrid for you?
Andre Rublev.
Andre Rublev. I'm going to go for Yuri Lehecka to win Madrid. So Rafa's loss is not in vain. It made me feel a little bit better if I know that he's the one who goes on and wins the whole thing. And then it'll be like, oh, well, Rafa did lose to the winner, so it's not that bad.
There's always hope. Then there's always hope. And then Lehecka goes on, wins Rome. And then,
Now, Rome's a whole new event. We've got Djokovic back. Hopefully Alcaraz will be fit. Hopefully Sinner will be fit. Hopefully...
not sick.
No, hopefully we'll have Nadal as well. It should be a fantastic event. Don't think we've forgot the women. We'll be doing a video for that tomorrow. It may just be me on my own doing a news video. But for now, we're going to leave it there. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Go check us out on Spotify where you can listen to this podcast as well and give us a review on there as well.
Yeah. Adios, everybody. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.